Remember how it was probably really hard for you, despite my last video saying, hey, in this zone, closing candles, you need to stay neutral but leaning bearish until a daily closure happens under it. It never happened. Well, it's probably going to be hard to stay neutral leaning bullish in this zone that Bitcoin has just entered and closed the daily candle, opened this daily candle, and likely will close within it. Flipping bullish will happen above this line. We'll dissect that here in the video. And here we go. So returning viewers, if you can take a quick second and hit smash the like and leave me a quick comment to help out the algo. This is going to help me continue producing new content for you. And for new viewers, before you do any of that, don't just smash the like or do whatever. I would get through this video. I have tags down here if you're just interested in Cardano or Ethereum, for example. But what this channel does in general, it helps supplement your crypto information intake because you're probably watching a bunch of news and fundamental types of videos out there on crypto YouTube. So what this channel does is it helps you have a better understanding of what the heck you're doing when you're clicking around with your money, as opposed to listening to some YouTuber talk about the next flavor of the month, buying it, and then you're down 30%. So this gives you a better odds or a better understanding of what odds are when you're clicking buy and sell, so you can form a statistical edge and maximize your crypto journey. So if that sounds good, watch to the end. And if you end up subscribing, go ahead and check out my Patreon. Links down below. It gives you examples of what the community does or what I do in the community for you all. So here we go. No time to waste. I'll turn off that annoying sign and make my ugly ass smaller. And here we go. All right. So there's not a whole lot more analysis on Bitcoin than what I opened with, to be honest with you. Neutral, leaning, bullish, not much else. However, if I can do one thing here, besides that, besides click around in weird places on my screen, if there's one thing I would like to do is to give words of warning to help you understand why you need to stay neutral but leaning bullish here, right? And when Bitcoin gets up to this line and you're in alts that you would like to take a little bit of profit, that might be an okay time to strongly consider that. In specific regards to your Pokemon cards for entertainment only. So let me show you why, and you've probably seen this on my channel before, but let me show you a few reasons why you might want to stay neutral here, okay, and not go all in. If you're holding Tether, maybe deploy a little bit, but I wouldn't go, this is not the time to go all in quite yet. All right, so I'm going to go to the 5-day chart. And this is something that I accidentally discovered as I was listening to a couple of VIPs talk about BPro. I was just had my chart up so everybody could see just how I fiddle around with the charts and all that. And I accidentally discovered something that really is, the best indicator for a dead cat bounce that I've ever seen before. And I did it on accident. And I'm going to share it with you for free here on YouTube. Because it's an obscure type of time frame, so this isn't going to change the entire market or anything. Hopefully I can remember what the hell I was doing, how I did it. Oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to take off price. All right. And, oh, I don't want to get rid of these lines. Okay, so what we can see right now with these two lines, and don't worry about what they are, new viewers, right now. It's 5-day 50 MA, so normal moving average, and the 5-day 10 EMA exponential moving average. This is bomb. You're gonna love this. Watch this. So see how they're kissing, or they were kissing, and now you have. I'm not gonna go there with that analogy. Shouldn't have started with that analogy. Now that it's piercing through, that was a horrible analogy. Usually my analogies are better on my channel, new viewers. Okay, but previously this was kissing, right? And you've recently got a cross of red above the blue. Okay, so now let's zoom out and go back in time. Again, this is without price. Price, when you're looking at EMAs, often is just fluff. It's just chaos. So this was the coronavirus dump. This was roughly the height of that bull trap. When did it start falling? Right as it kissed. Did it cross? I actually don't know. Oh, it crossed a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. So it did close the candle up there, and then, it did cross. I didn't think it did. See that? So see how the kissing of this almost perfectly timed this drop down? There's no other indicator that I've seen or EMAs that I've been able to come up with that time this that well. All right, next. The first dead cat bounce of 2018 bear market when Bitcoin. So this is end of 2017. This is all 2018. This is November 2018. This is January 2019 when Bitcoin went down to 3,200. Okay, so this is the first dead cat bounce. And did it come up to kiss exactly? No, it did not. However, it got close, tried to kiss the blue, and started getting a negative slope, and that got that dead cat bounce just like that, just as you see. All right, so let's keep going. So this is the height of 2013 when Bitcoin got up to about 1180 or 1240. I can't remember what it did, but anyway, so the first dead cat bounce, what did it do? Came up kiss, and right when this got a negative slope was about the exact top. No, it wasn't quite the exact top. It was close. Give those a tie, but it got the timing correct. When you got a negative slope, that means right? So let's take price off again. And this time, it was the second failed attempt, and this one did cross. And look how it got priced. Booyah. All right, now let's mark this one off. This might have been happening at the time of a daily golden cross. So I left a mark there, maybe put back on price so I know what the heck I'm doing here. Let's go back to 20. There we go. 2015 here. All right. So I'm on the daily chart now, totally different chart. I'm going to put on the MAs, not EMAs. And lo and behold, look, golden cross right as they were kissing. And in no other examples did the golden cross come before that. Yeah, this golden cross came after. So this golden cross coming at the timing of those two other EMAs that you just saw, red and blue kissing, this is looking pretty similar to what we got going on. Because right now we have a golden cross happening just as this is passing, as the other indicators are passing, right? And there are a lot of things in big EMAs that are happening here that are pretty similar. So what happened here in terms of the specific daily and 5-day EMAs that I've used, so it's very similar posturing on the daily, and it's very similar posturing on the 5-day. So the idea that this is a bull trap, this entire move, from here to here, the idea that this whole thing is a bull trap is possible. However, do I think that personally? No. But but it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what I want. I don't think or want that, right? To want something in trading is actually kind of silly. I shouldn't use that word. If I had to guess, I would actually say this is a mini bear trap, and we're going to get continuation somewhere around late September to mid October. I would guess that. And I would guess we're going to fiddle around in here, bounce above this 10, weekly 10 EMA that I've drawn in here. I'm not on the weekly chart, but this dashed red line, that's what I think will happen. But it doesn't matter what I think, right? In trading, you don't just pick a side. Rather, you observe, I guess, all possibilities of price movement, but you focus on the top three, right? And then when you trade and you think you have an edge on one, you always keep those second two, especially if they're in the opposite direction. You actually might want to keep those in the forefront of your mind, right? So you don't get biased towards the one you chose. So that's what I'm doing here. I personally think that this whole big move up is not a bull trap, rather that this is a mini bear trap. But this is one, and I could keep going on and on with Bitcoin, right? I could talk about Bitcoin all day, but there are more examples very similar to this in regard to previous price action that shows, hey, this literally might be just a big old trap before things go back down to the mid 30s and chill out for a while. all right, or high 30s, whatever number your target is. Some people are still hanging on to 25K, and it is still absolutely possible. There are lots of things in the chart saying that is totally on the table. Okay, so now if I can show you one more quick example, this one will go a lot faster here. Watch. High, lower high, high, potential lower high, boom, 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 boom. High, or I mean lower high, boom, 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 boom. That's how these things work. Even a high here has a lower high before it dumps. So we have a high, and if we were to go down, you're likely going to form a lower high, unless there's a short squeeze, then it goes boom, and then it tanks, which does happen like it did here. And it kind of did here. So that those plays do happen, right? But those are about the two most common plays in Bitcoin. Either you get an aggressive move up before the big move down, right, to try to lure people into taking long, so the big players who are getting ready to sell a crap ton of Bitcoin can take on their shorts, because they can't take on shorts if you don't take on a long. So they have to convince you to get long so they can take on shorts, right? Because it's a requirement that you take on a long. It's one long per one short, right? So if they need 30 million, they need to lure 30 million longs. So, but just to say structurally, high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and in the series of high, lower, high, dump, high, lower, high, dump, even structurally, I mean, there are a lot of things in the chart saying, okay, you need to stay neutral. But the reason why I chose this line is because a lot of times when you have an area of consolidation that has a top end here where you have a lot of price action, if you can close one daily candle above that, the next day is big green candle. That's typically how it works, and that works on a lot of time frames, especially the 4 hour and above, 4 hour daily, 2 day, weekly. And I've already shown. Actually, we'll just skip to Cardano. I'll show you the exact. And on my channel, I've shown this a lot of times, but on Cardano is a perfect example. Just did it fairly recently on the weekly. Even before, so imagine, we are staring at price here this week or this week, right? And this candle did not exist, and neither did current price action, because we were travel in the past to mid-April. Before this candle had finished or formed, I said, hey, Cardano's going to have a nice big weekly candle whenever one weekly candle closes above those two. So you have a range with a lot of price action, and you choose the highest closing candle whenever the next candle of that time frame closes above. Traditional trading is you typically get a big breakout because it brings buyers to the market. So there are a lot of people who are sideliners and a lot of people who are sellers, and you have buyers. But that type of price action brings sideliners to buyers, and it makes sellers stop being sellers. And some people flip straight from seller to buyer. So you have a massive wave of buyers, and that's just how trading works, right? So you can see here, if you stretch this out, and I actually missed that move because I didn't go like this. I couldn't tell it actually closed above. But look, it closed barely above that line, and then what happened thereafter? Kablam. All right, so same thing on Bitcoin, but in this small range. Let's go to the daily and on a different time frame on the daily, because it can happen across time frames. If you could get a daily closure above here, it brings in a lot of buyers to the table. And this type of price action right here, I don't think it's as significant as this. I think this is the level to get above, and then I think you're home free, really. So I personally would not expect a closure above this line, personally, anytime in this week. I really think Bitcoin's going to play across here, because I don't think Bitcoin's ready to go up quite yet. It could be. It absolutely could be. I would say that's, second or third most probable, maybe even fourth most probable, because maybe second and third is it peters out and it breaks this range, right? So it might be among the top four most probable, but it's not in my top two. And what could happen is you get a closure above, the next day wicks above, then tanks, and that would be a trap. So this has the potential on the daily chart to be a trappy area to lure longs. So I would get confident here at this line, and I would get very confident with the daily closure above that line. So these two lines is, okay, statistical edge, yes, I have it. Here is, I have an even stronger statistical edge, so if I wanted to increase my positions and be more confident with what I'm doing, clicking around with my money, even in my altcoin plays, that's what would happen, okay? So let's go to Cardano real quick. Let's see if it's closed above its daily 10 EMA. Let's see what EMAs we're playing with. So let's get those off. Okay, so I do have drawn in here the weekly 10 EMA. That's what this guy right here is, okay? All right. So essentially, Cardano is still stuck under its 10 and 21 EMAs, but it's above this. And Bitcoin has already broken above this. So Bitcoin, in the short term, is outperforming Cardano structurally versus the daily EMAs. So if you go back to Bitcoin, see, Bitcoin's above. It was also trapped between the two, the red line that I drew in and this red line on the daily, but it's broken above. Let's go check out what Ethereum's doing. Ethereum is in a very similar posturing as Bitcoin, all right? However, here's the thing with Ethereum. So this is the case for Bitcoin doesn't go sideways much longer. Here's the case for it. Or consolidates much higher than what I'm thinking. All right, it's the case of Ethereum. I think Ethereum might be able to pull Bitcoin up because Ethereum's posturing is so much different and it's way more bullish, honestly. So that same idea of a consolidation. So you have a consolidation and you have the highest wick here, right? Okay, well let's draw that line. If this day closes above that line, the likelihood of a nice big green candle the next day is pretty big. And that, if Bitcoin stayed toe to toe with Ethereum, that would put it into that confident range and would be closing a candle where I would personally be confident in continuation up. So Ethereum has a pretty good chance of pulling this market up. And as I showed in my last video, to which I already offered a link at the beginning of the video, so you can just click it and watch, but I went into more detail with this. So I have highlighted an origin line that that Ethereum is playing with right now, and it's been consolidating on this origin line for how many? For 236 days. It's not a horizontal consolidation. This is a I guess origin line consolidation, and it's been trying to break above it. And right now, it's breaking above it. And once it does, it's going to the next origin line. That's how it moves. That's just what happens. So I have the one highlighted that it's touching right now. So let's just see. It got this area of support, and when it broke support, that's when you got a massive down move, came right back up to test it, right? You flew past it, but you came back down to test it. See, so Ethereum's a very young asset. There's not a whole ton of price history to go off of, but that is just how this asset moves versus these lines that I came up with these on my channel. So I used a word that I got from another trader, but if you are interested in these lines, these are exclusive to my community, and I provide them to my community members. But anyway, and I call them origin lines, and I got that word from another trader, but they're my lines. And if you like them, come check out the community. But anyway, that is how it moves, and Ethereum is breaking above it right now. So I would honestly, right now, since Cardano's chilling, I think most of the overall market analysis should be first focused on Ethereum, what it's doing. But also, you need to keep Bitcoin in there because if it stays toe to toe, right, these two assets can go on a feedback loop of strength and weakness. For example, when Bitcoin is strong, Ethereum sometimes chills, but it doesn't go down much because Bitcoin is strong. But when Bitcoin needs to chill and cool off, Ethereum then takes the turn going up, and therefore, when Bitcoin's chilling, it's not tanking. So you could get into that loop where they take turns being bullish, and this market could really get hot really fast. I mean, as I've said in a couple of my videos, this I don't know if this is a top 4 probable. It might be though. This might be the beginning of the first of 2 waves of a parabolic move. This whole run. Okay, and this would be like half of the first wave. We could be entering that. And so if you want to look at Bitcoin on this chart here, let's go back to 2017 when you had a big dip. So actually, let's see where Bitcoin is now. Bitcoin is between the red and the white line. So go back here. Look, 2017, red and white line. Okay, so let's do that one more time. Let me zoom in a little bit more. 2017. Watch. These are origin lines on Bitcoin. Red, white line. Go to current price, staying in that same channel. Red and white line. Did it touch the red line this time? No, it did not. However, it's in the red and white line. And as you had that correction, that began the parabolic move. That could be what's happening. And if that were to happen, I think the 4-year cycle would still be intact. I personally don't think that's the case, but that there are bullish cases as well. Even though I started off the video keeping you neutral, but that's some hopium for you. It could be happening, right? So you gotta stay aware of all these. But the thing is, you're gonna be able to see it first on Ethereum, I do believe. So I think Ethereum is really leading the market, and it's going to give you the tip on, hey, should I be taking profits on my altcoins? Hey, should I deploy more Tether? Things to that effect. And if you stay in tune to this channel, I'll keep giving you heads up, day after day. But it might be pretty difficult for Ethereum to close 1 or 2 candles above this origin line. And if it does, it might get stuck in this triangle for a while and go sideways, which in that case, Bitcoin would then be consolidating a little higher than what I anticipated. So as opposed to consolidating down in the 45.5 range, Bitcoin could consolidate up in this range if Ethereum got stuck in that triangle. I think that Bitcoin's going to play mostly between this top line and this line here. I think that will get most of price action, but it absolutely might not. I mean, most of price action could be between here, especially if Ethereum breaks above, gets stuck in a triangle. Right, so I'm going to keep you up to date on that as we move along. So make sure if you're a new viewer, go ahead and hit subscribe. And if you do subscribe, you're a new viewer, let me know if you want to be a CRYPTILIAN or a crypto crackhead. Those are the two community gender neutral pronouns that we use within the community. And go ahead, hit like, leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any questions about this analysis, if anything didn't make sense. And a lot of times before you ask those questions, you might want to check out my library of information here on YouTube. It's free. Just go to my playlist, look for library, and go through those. And it really make your crypto journey much more profitable, especially if you're a newer investor to crypto and you don't know what 4-hour 21 EMA means. You might want to go check that out. And y'all just got Timified. See you later.